Hi everybody, this is Mr. RB. I want to show you how to use one-point perspective to make a letter P appear to be three-dimensional. To begin with, we're going to create a horizon line, and I'm placing mine high up on the page today. My horizon line will go from side to side horizontally, and that will separate the ground below from the sky above. Anything that's at that horizon level is also at my eye level. So if I'm having something below my horizon, it's below my eye level and I'm looking down at the top of it. If I'm looking at something above eye level, then it's up in the sky and I can see the bottom of it. Think the bottom of planes, the bottom of clouds, as opposed to the top of boxes or the top of your feet as you look down at the ground. All right, let's get on with the letter P. The next thing I need is a vanishing point. It could be anywhere on this horizon line, but for today I'm going to put it all the way over to the left. I want to create my bubble letter P. I can use my straight edge, in this case a ruler, to get a nice, clean, crisp straight line, or I can sort of hand do it and get a slightly more handmade irregular line. Either one can work, and I think it depends a lot on what your preference is and what kind of idea or feeling or goal you're trying to accomplish in your drawing. Now I have the outside shape of the P. I need to make the window. If I want the window to line up with the leg of the P, I'm just going to use that straight edge again. Place it there, create the straight line of the window, and then the rest of that window. All right. I'm sticking to a sort of straightforward version of the letter P today. I think it'll make it easier to see how the perspective lines work and help us along as we get started. All right, to make this three-dimensional, I need to place my pencil on the vanishing point, my straight edge on the pencil, and I'm going to pivot my straight edge until it touches that bottom corner of the P, and I will connect my vanishing point to the bottom corner. I'm then going to repeat for the other end of that line. Place my pencil on the vanishing point, ruler on the pencil, pivot till I touch that upper corner, and connect. This triangle will now is now the wall of the P, the side wall, and it's going back and back and back all the way to the horizon line as far as a person could see. I don't really want mine going all the way back today. I'm going to cut it off earlier. And what I need to do is get a line that's similar to the front edge. Well, this front edge is a straight up and down vertical, so I'm just going to place my ruler on it, slide it a little towards the vanishing point, and connect. I now have the wall for the side of my P, and I no longer need these two converging lines. Notice that those two lines did converge. They V together back at the vanishing point. That's important because the distance between them is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's what creates the illusion. In the real world, it looks like things get smaller as they get further away. In drawing world, we're going to make them smaller so they seem further away. Just keep in mind, as they go towards that vanishing point, you want them to get shorter, skinnier, and closer together, and that way they'll keep thinking smaller. All right, let's talk about getting the top of the P. The top of the P has this curve going around, so I can't really pick out just one corner like I did with this side. Here's what I'm going to do. This line over here is about half an inch. I'm going to use that measurement. I'm going to put my pencil on the vanishing point, my ruler on the top of the P, and I'm just going to make a little half-inch line going towards the vanishing point. Then I'm going to repeat over and over. Each of these will be about a half an inch long. I want to get a series of them going all the way until I can no longer connect a straight line to the top of that P. If I run out of room, that is okay, because that means I've gotten to the point where I would no longer see the top. I'm going right off the edge of that letter. Yep, there we go. So that's about as far as I can go around. Beyond that, I would start going through the letter. I don't want to put any lines going through the letter. We're going to think that our letter is opaque, made of concrete, stone, or wood, something that we wouldn't generally see through. Now I have these lines here, and they all have end points. I'm going to connect those end points like a little connect the dot. And I come down here, and there you go. Now I don't have to worry about this side, because I wouldn't see that side from this vantage point or this perspective. Same thing down here. But I would see inside the window. So how do I figure that out? I'm going to use the same strategy as I did for the top. I'm going to put my pencil on the vanishing point, ruler on the pencil, and I'm going to make a series of half-inch long lines. One. Let's see how many I need over here. I can always add more. I mean, there's no strict limit. Over there, that one didn't even fit a full half-inch, so we don't want to go any further in that direction. The measurement of half an inch, by the way, is arbitrary. I just picked it. That's how deep I wanted my letter to be. As long as I stay consistent, I'll be all right. You don't even have to know how much it is. You could mark out a little space on a piece of cardboard or on a straight edge that you're using, or a piece of paper you're using for straight edge, and it would still work. I like using the ruler. It's very convenient. Now I'm going to connect the ends of those, and what I get is a curving line that's very similar to this curve over here, so it seems consistent. I can then add a little tone. I'm going to think that the sun is shining up in the sky, and that will make the top of the P rather bright. Over in here, this will be like the inside of a cave or a tunnel, and I'm going to get some darker shadow in there. Notice I'm using a sort of curving marks because I'm trying to get that curving wall of the inside of the tunnel going through the P. And curving marks help describe curved surfaces. Flat marks help describe flat surfaces. I'm going to smudge that a little with my finger just to get rid of the marks so they're not so obvious. I don't want to remind people that this is a drawing. I want them to forget that it's a drawing and think that it's just a window to some other interesting reality in which forms and shapes still obey the laws of physics as we know them. But in which we can have a giant letter P just standing out in the middle of a landscape for reasons we do not know. By the way, you may have noticed I used my ruler sort of like a stencil so I wouldn't go over the edge. Helps me get a nice crisp line. Last thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of shadow around the bottom. There are ways to use perspective to figure out exactly how long and in which direction shadows go, and even to help figure out the shape of the shadow. But in this case, I'm just making a little sort of slightly oval pool of shadow around my P, around my letter. I'm going to smear it together with my fingertip. If you do not like getting your fingers messy, and this obviously did get my finger messy, you could use a Q-tip probably, you could use a little piece of paper, anything like that. They do sell things that are already made. They're like pieces of paper rolled up really tight, and you can use them almost like a pencil, and they work nicely. But again, if you don't have that on hand or you don't want to get one, and you don't want to use your finger like I'm doing, I'm smearing a little of the gray. I want to get the front of that P gray, the front of the letter gray. So I'm getting that bubble letter gray because I want the top to seem really bright, like the sun is coming down and hitting here and making it really bright. I can't get it any brighter or lighter than the white of the paper. The only way I make this seem bright and white is by getting the stuff around it to seem just a little bit grayer. And the darker the gray is, the brighter the light will seem. Notice too that with a regular pencil, we're talking about shades of gray. We cannot get darker than the material itself. All right, I'm going to put a little over there. I'm using the side of my pencil so it's easy to smear, by the way, in case you're wondering why I'm doing it that way. But I'm using the side. I like it because I can smear it easily and I can erase it easily. And in this case, that works out very well. I'm not going to worry about getting it on the top there because I can go back with my eraser and draw in the light areas. Sometimes we get so worried about not getting any pencil on the white area. Well, you know, sometimes you can erase it off. I will say that does not work as well with materials like watercolor or ink, but certainly with a pencil like this, I can erase that white back in. And there you go. There is the letter P. Looking kind of three-dimensional. Well, I hope you have fun with this. Feel free to combine it with other letters, as in the other videos, and keep having fun and practicing kindness. And I'll talk to you real soon. Bye, everybody.